So I started paying attention to the ingredients on the back of everything, and I realized almost every single thing I was eating had dairy in it. Just in the street forever. Just forever. Good morning. We are just about to head out to go to family reunion, but we're waiting for Nico to wake up. Nick's actually holding him. I know, not good. But I thought while I was waiting, I would sit down and have a little chat with you about why I'm currently dairy-free and how that's working for us. And yeah, because I'm still breastfeeding, and also how long I'm going to be dairy-free before I start reintroducing it into my diet. But I am still exclusively breastfeeding. I guess you consider it exclusively breastfeeding. Now he has solids, and we're slowly starting to introduce water so that he can get the taste. And we've tried diluted apple juice, but he's not liking those. So, and every now and then he has a bottle, but it's still breast milk, and that's only if I'm not around, which is, I can probably count on one hand the amount of times I haven't been around him. So yeah, anyways, so in the beginning, like, he had a ton of gas, and to begin with it was just gas, but he then his tummy started kind of hurting, and I called the doctor and talked to the nurse, and she's like, just get some Mylicon drops, what you got, and they did help. But still, we were having to give him the drops anywhere from like 5 to 10 times a day. And I think that's right, I can't remember. Yeah, I think you can have them 12 times a day. I don't know, he wasn't having the max you could have him, but really close. And his stomach was still hurting, and there was like 2 times that I specifically remember that he must have had like a little gas air bubble, because all of a sudden he started screaming in pain, and it took us, I know one time it took us like a good hour or 2 to even get him settled, like to stop crying at all. And normally if his tummy hurts or if he's upset about anything, I can comfort nurse him, and then he's fine, as long as he's comfort nursing until whatever it is passes. But even then, like, he wouldn't even comfort nurse. And so this happened 2 times, and I kept thinking, like, because I kept seeing it online, like people talking about it on YouTube and just in general, about dairy, like, you know, cutting out dairy. But I didn't think I ate that much dairy. Every now and then I would have a day where I ate more dairy, like it was just coincidental. But for the most part, I don't eat like a ton of cheese. I don't eat a ton of like main dairy things that you would think about. So I don't know, I was still kind of like, I don't know if I should or not. But finally I told Nick, I was like, well, maybe I just need to try it and see. And when I decided to try it, that's when I realized how much dairy I was actually consuming. And most people would just be like, yeah, your baby's probably just colicky, or even, you know, the nurse was even like that. But I only had called that one time, so maybe she didn't. And I think at the time I called her, it wasn't as bad as it was, because it got worse. And but I started paying more attention to what I was eating. And even like if we got a biscuit or something on the weekend, sometimes we'll go like run out, get a biscuit from Bojangles or McDonald's or Hardee's or wherever. And I got to thinking, they put butter on the biscuit, like that's dairy. And then I got to thinking, like, and actually I'm pretty positive that the dough is made with some sort of dairy, so that's dairy. Snickers, what are you doing? Come here. You're not even supposed to be in here. But as long as you're not crying, so you don't wake up Nico. Okay. And then I started thinking like stuff like that, like, wow, I'm eating a little more dairy than I thought. And then I started, after I had done some research online, to find out like what ingredients, if there was any like names that you wouldn't, that weren't the classic names like milk, cheese, like that kind of stuff. Any more scientific names. And so I started reading more about that, and then there was a name and I forget what it is now because every time I look for it, I don't see it. It normally is good. The packages are good about saying contains dairy ingredients, or in the thing it normally says milk or whatever. So, and I know it when I see it. Like, it's just one of those things I can't really say, and I can't think of it off the top of my head right now because I'm trying to recall it. I'll put it like down here if I find it. Anyways, so I started paying attention to the ingredients on the back of everything, and I realized almost every single thing I was eating had dairy in it. Yeah, so, and then I felt really horrible because I thought, I procrastinated on trying to go dairy free because I thought, I don't eat that much dairy, that can't be what it is. And after a couple of weeks of me cutting out dairy completely, or mostly, because I would still have like a piece of bread or something like that, or accidentally have some dairy, but mostly it was cut out, and that's with me reading the ingredients and stuff like that. And even like baked barbecue chips have dairy ingredients in them, like stuff like that, and I was like, what? So yeah, so whenever I started being a lot more aware and cutting out almost all of the dairy, a couple of weeks in, he started doing so much better. The Mylicon drops were reduced to 2 to 3 times a day, and then it went to maybe he needs it once, maybe twice, if at all. And now it's only like every now and then. This week, actually, his tummy's been bothering him more than usual. And by more than usual, we've been giving him Mylicon like on 3 different days, and that's it. Like once, I think one day we gave it to him twice, but that's it. So it drastically helped. So at the next doctor's appointment, when I was able to get face to face with the doctor and tell him that, and he was like, okay, good. Yeah, I guess, I think he said they would have suggested that, like, you know, if I had to come back or whatever, I don't remember, that's good. And he said sometimes it's also about finding your balance, because Nico probably has like a dairy protein allergy, but some babies have a more severe allergy than other people or other babies. And so one baby can tolerate some dairy products while another baby cannot tolerate any. And he said one of his babies was like that, and his wife had to monitor the dairy and stuff like that, and it was about finding her balance, and she was able to eat a little bit of it. And he told me, actually, this was at the 4-month check, I think it was, that this is whenever we had this conversation. I forgot to ask him at the 6-month check, but he had told me at 4-month check, at 6 months I could start trying to add back dairy stuff, just to see how it affects him, because he can kind of grow out of it, and just a lot more mature digestive system and stuff like that. So but I got scared to do that, because when we added solids, it kind of upset his tummy a little bit, and then we cut back on that, and then re-added them after waiting a few weeks, which I'd called the doctor, and he said yes, that was good to do. And so we haven't really had much of a problem, except for, like I said, this week, and I don't know what that was. I don't know if I ate something or what, but he's 7 months now, and I still haven't really added back dairy. I have, since he's been 6 months, almost tried, like on Father's Day, I think it was, my dad had cooked some twice baked potatoes and had cheese on it, obviously, and I'm sure it had milk in it, but I'm not sure. And I did eat some of that, and it didn't bother him. So in that aspect, I added back a little dairy, but I'm not eating dairy consistently. Just every now and then I might have something with a little bit of dairy in it. And this week, because I don't know why his tummy has been hurting, like I'm scared to cut out dairy yet, but I'm going to very soon start to add back a little bit of dairy. But to be honest, I don't miss dairy that much. There's a few things I miss it on, but not that much. And in the beginning, when I realized everything had dairy, it felt really overwhelming and difficult. But after I kind of got over that like shock of it, it's really not that bad. I kind of know now what I can eat and what I can't eat, and then too, I don't feel like that has dairy in it. If I see something that has dairy, I'm just like, nah. And there are actually some things you can find alternatives to and stuff like that. So it's really not too bad. And I've even found some chocolate things that I like that are not milk chocolate, and they're just made with the cocoa, and there's no dairy stuff made with it. So that's good. That makes me happy, because that would be the main thing. And the other thing I miss, which I found an alternative, and I have the ingredients to make it, I just haven't made it yet, are like cinnamon rolls, like and cream cheese icing, like that kind of stuff that I don't need that much of anyways. But I need to make the alternative for that, and I already prefer like almond milk, so that wasn't too bad. Oh, and like as far as coffee goes, I don't actually drink that much coffee, and I drink decaf because the caffeine like in coffee, for some reason it makes my anxiety really high, and if I drink too much coffee in general, it can make my tummy hurt, especially the caffeinated one. So, but I stopped using regular creamer, and I use almond milk creamer now. I tried coconut milk creamer, and I'm just personally not that huge of a fan, but I really love the almond milk creamer. So, but yeah, it's made a huge difference, and so I'm gonna start adding it back soon, but I wanted to wait before I did it too much, because we're still introducing new foods every 3 to 4 days, and yeah, so until we stop doing that, I may not eat much dairy. Just because I don't want to, because then I won't be able to tell, like, is it the dairy or is it the food? So yeah, that's why. And I wanted to share because like I said, I had no idea I was eating so much dairy, and that almost everything has dairy. So in case somebody else is wondering, like if you have like a real colicky baby or gassy baby, and you're struggling and you're breastfeeding, it could possibly be that, even if you don't think you're eating much dairy. Or it could not be. Like, I'm no doctor, I'm just saying. I wanted to share it because, like I said, I didn't think that could possibly be it, but I thought, it doesn't hurt to try. So, Mom fell at not trying to begin with and procrastinating. Yeah, hey Snickers. What time is it? We're already so late. Yes. Well, you don't get to go anyway. Sorry. You've had treats, though, this morning. You sure have. Yeah, and you got some new toys that we forgot were in the cabinet. So, I'm going to go check on Nick and Nico, and we got to be going soon. Oh, and one more thing before we head out to the family reunion. We have to acknowledge the fact that today we reached 1,000 subscribers, which is super exciting, isn't it, Snickers? Hey, up here. You don't care? I care. I'm super excited about that. So thank you all so much to everybody who subscribed. And if you haven't subscribed, be sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so that you're notified when I upload new videos. Yeah. So excited. Somebody finally woke up. Didn't you?